Minasan, konnichiwa. Boku wa Luke desu. Hi everyone, my name is Luke, and the purpose of this channel is to teach you how you can teach yourself Japanese as quickly as possible. As for myself, I've been living in Japan for about 6 months now, and after 3 months of living here, I got conversational in the language, having to switch back to English pretty rarely, and I expect to be fluent in another 6 months. And I got there because I found some outstanding resources about how to learn Japanese. And I want to share on this channel with you how you can do exactly that. As for myself, I took Italian in college. I studied abroad in Italy for a year. I also had German in high school. But once I learned Latin, I was able to, of course, learn a little ancient Greek, but mostly Latin helped with learning Spanish and French, Portuguese. I don't speak much Portuguese, but I was able to pick up those languages because I had, sense of the grammar. And I was thinking when I came to Japan that, I'd have some sort of background that I'd be able to, get by with the kind of understanding I had of grammar. But when I got here, that was not the case. Japanese has a lot of difficulties about it. And for those of you who may have already started to study the language, maybe in a class or maybe on your own, it's got a lot of things about it that are just not at all familiar, especially coming from the perspective of someone who speaks a European language as a native language. Of course, in my case, English, and probably the case for a lot of you out there as well. Japanese has a lot of complexity about it, and the writing system is probably one of the most obvious ones. For those of you who might already be in Japan or have ever come here or even tried to read a Japanese menu, you find out real quick you're illiterate. And that's not easy. If you go to a European country already knowing English with German, like with a German dictionary, you can, make out a word, you see the word Gebäude, it means building, whatever it is, you can look it up in a dictionary. But how do you possibly find kanji, the Chinese characters, which don't have a phonetic value to them that you can look up in a dictionary, without already knowing their meaning? How can you do that? That's one of the things I'm going to tell you on this channel. Besides that, how do you learn 2,200 kanji? The Japanese take 10 years of their public education system just to learn them. So how are we expected, maybe even if we live here our whole lives, we don't have maybe the benefit of the Japanese education system from kids to learn how. They write these things a million times when they're kids, and then they know them basically when they're adults, but even some adults struggle to remember some of the more difficult kanji. So, my goodness, how are we supposed to possibly do that? How can we be functioning members of this society that we're either visiting for a short period of time or for a few years or maybe the rest of our lives? Do we really want to go on speaking English as, an international language, though it is forever? And other European languages, spoken by fewer people than the Japanese, have an international status, whereas Japanese doesn't. And why not? And the writing system is one of those big reasons. Another is the grammar. Japanese grammar is very, very alien from the perspective of, certainly from English, and pretty much every other European language I've studied. So, how on earth do we learn that in a way that makes sense? How do you learn it quickly? Can you get it over time? Are the university courses and their standard format for teaching the best way? Not really. And I'm going to tell you why in this channel in successive videos. Another thing is just the pronunciation. It's got a lot of peculiarities to it. If you've already studied some Japanese, you might have heard of something called the pitch accent, which is a linguistic feature that's fairly unique to Japanese, ancient Greek, and a couple other languages out there, but it's really quite an alien thing. And what is going to be unique about this channel and what I want to show all of you is that a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, they never teach in a college course. They never teach in a regular school program for a number of reasons. One is maybe, for example, most Japanese courses are taught by Japanese people. Knowing their own language already, they may not know the best way for us as foreigners to learn. I'm not saying I have all the answers, far from it. In fact, what this channel is going to be after I get through telling all of you what I've learned so far, every time I learn something new after that, or a new way to learn something, I'm going to make it a part of this channel and share it with all of you, and on my website, the link to which is in the description of this video. And it's going to be exciting. I love living here, and for those of you who haven't been here yet, I want to arm you with everything I possibly can to make sure that your experience in Japan is enriched by knowing the language, by knowing how to read it already, even before you get here. Or if you're already here, that's okay. As quickly as possible, you'll be able to learn the language and hopefully get conversational, even fluent, faster than me. I hope so. Maybe you can spend even more time on it. So that is my goal for this channel. Please subscribe and check back here for other videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Sayonara.